is on.
We welcome you back to Major League Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. It is opening day 2010. Jody Jackson just outside the dugout as we're getting ready for first pitch. Now manager A.J. Hinch starts his first full season as manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So surely he's got the adrenaline going for today. He talks about the importance and the uniqueness of opening day.
And opening days are special, you know, and I think they are a trigger for what's ahead. It's where the most optimism can exist on a ball club. Everybody is 0-0. Everybody, you would hope, thinks that they can win. And the fans are excited to get back to baseball. Like opening day signals the beginning of what's ahead. Now, what's ahead, I don't know, and I think that's why we play the games.
Well, we're all excited. A sellout crowd here at Chase Field today. A beautiful day here in downtown Phoenix, Arizona for baseball. When we return, Dan Herron will take the mound to open up the season for the Diamondbacks of 2010, and everyone is optimistic for this season for our D-backs.
Arizona Diamondbacks in their home whites take the diamond. Miguel Montero storms out. The ace of their staff, his battery mate, Dan Herron, ready to clock in and make a run at a Cy Young Award. We know the homegrown Diamondbacks, the names like Justin Upton, top pick in the draft several years back. Chris Young looking for a rebound season along with his teammate Stephen Drew, homegrown Diamondback as well. But this club has been built with some new faces too. From Atlanta, coming over, Kelly Johnson looking to call Arizona home. The same can be said for Adam LaRoche. How many infielders will he bail out this year? Maybe an infielder like Mark Reynolds. He is called explosive with the bat, with the body, with the dives into the stands. We saw it all year long last year. And Connor Jackson, how much does this mean to him to be healthy, to be back, to be playing, to be putting Valley Fever behind him? Behind home plate, Miguel Montero, not only did he learn that he belonged in the major leagues last year, but he learned how to catch. And that's something that Dan Herron truly values. The relationship between these two has grown. Dan will tell us as we work throughout the game. A 29-year-old right-hander, Daniel John Herron, is on the mound. The numbers for last season, brought to you by our good friends with Delivering It, the UPS store.
Yeah, always good to see number 15 on the mound. Even on a last-place season like it was last year, Darren Sutton, it just seemed like every time this man took the mound, you just felt like the Diamondbacks were going to win the game, and they need this one today.
He kept the bases clean. He managed the base paths. He let his defense do the work, but when he could get strikeouts, he got them. Over 200 a season ago, 223. It wouldn't be a baseball game without a young man by the name of Tony Gwynn to get it going, the son of the Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, but establishing himself in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2010 season is underway for the Diamondbacks, and a strike right down the middle, 0-1. Tony 2 for 8 in his career against Dan Herron, an on-base percentage of .350 last season. And that's key at the top of the order. Fouls that one off, no balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, he's got great speed. He's a guy that can get on base and create some havoc, put some pressure on an opposing defense. Adrian Gonzalez is 2 batters behind him, so Tony Gwynn, a very valuable part of this offense. He needs to get on for that big boy.
Backs off, split-fingered fastball there. Who is Dan Herron? Well, a lot of you have watched him closely with regard to the way he attacks a hitter. His fastball, he'll tell you, is about Major League average. Maybe, I think you'd say, Gracie, just a tick above. But a 4-pitch mix as that one dives down and away, a split-fingered fastball. And in that mix, I think the cut fastball more than any, or the cutter as it says there, that's the one I think he surprised a lot of people with last year.
Yeah, that's the one he nearly perfected last year. He didn't have it. Boy, it turned into a huge weapon for him.
On 2-2, that's what that pitch was. Cut fastball, strike 3.
Exactly right, Darren. He missed with a couple of split fingers, came right back on the inside corner. Tony Gwynn could not hold up. And that's something you didn't see his old man do, strike out.
No, not very much. David Eckstein was an angel. He was at the end of spring training in 2001 playing an exhibition game at then Bank One Ballpark. Mike Scioscia called him over to the end of the bench and said, "Young man, you've made the team. You're in the big leagues." And then Mike, as you can see him doing, said, "Aren't you going to get a little more excited?" He said, "With all these veterans around, I'm not peeping. I'm not saying a word."
Smart.
And he has never left the major league since. Bouncing ball out to third. Reynolds was looking for the bunt, so he was playing close. Veteran David Eckstein, 35 years old, is erased. Let's take a look, by the way. 1 through 9 is penciled in by skipper and former Angels pitching coach Bud Black. Adrian Gonzalez right behind. Looking forward to see what Kyle Blanks can do behind the slugging of Gonzalez. Headley moves to third. Venable in right every day. Hundley, Everett Cabrera. Will his defense be good enough? John Garland, former Diamondback, is on the mound.
I think Darren Sutton, Kyle Blanks is going to get a lot of opportunities because until he proves himself at the big league level, I'm not messing with this guy, Adrian Gonzalez. Now, if you can get him to chase out of the zone like that, yes. But you throw anything in the middle of the plate, this guy just destroys it.
And he's not a strikeout guy for the power that he gives you. Over 100 walks last year. The 0-1. He gives that one a ride. Center field going back into his career shot. He is there. And Herron takes the bump for the Diamondbacks and sits the Padres down 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to Chase Field. This SAP broadcast brought to you by Carl's Jr. Try the Big Country Breakfast Burrito with eggs, hash browns, and savory sausage gravy. A look at the Arizona lineup. And some power there. And Connor Jackson, a man who might be hitting in the middle of a lot of orders. He's their leadoff man with Drew, Upton, LaRoche, Reynolds, who had 44 home runs last year. Montrero, the catcher, Young, Johnson, and Herron. I was shocked when you look back at last year's performance by Arizona, how poorly they hit as a team. Their team batting average was one of the lowest in the National League.
Considering this ballpark as well, because the ball has a tendency to jump, and the averages are usually higher than the Diamondbacks were last year.
Well, the first pitch from John Garland all the way to the screen. Jackson, happy to be back in uniform, played only a few games, struck with valley fever, unable to play almost the entire 2009 year. So he's one of the happiest guys in the ballpark today. Slider misses outside. And another one off the plate.
Another reason why Connor Jackson's so happy to be in that lineup. When you look over the course of his career, his leadoff numbers are unbelievable. He's got 321 average when he leads off in the first inning of the ballgame.
There's the strike. And that's why his skipper, A.J. Hinch, likes him up there, because he has a good eye. He's productive even if he doesn't swing. He's able to reach first base on walks. And this one is driven well to center field. Gwynn back and at the warning track makes the catch. Long out from Connor Jackson as he leaned on that 3-1 fastball.
Well, sometimes the outfielders will get a bad jump. You'll have to wait just that split second to see how hard the ball was actually hit and how far it will travel. This ball down and in. Jackson throws the head, and Tony Gwynn makes up with that speed. A nice over the head grab. He's got the sunglasses working today. It's bright out in center field and in right. So the right side of the infield as well. They have to battle that sun.
The tough field will be where Kyle Blanks is playing in left field. There's a strike to Stephen Drew, the shortstop. Hit 261 with 12 home runs a year ago. There's that splash of shadow that cuts from left center field down behind third base. So the left fielder playing in the shadows. Ground ball up the middle, and the first base hit of the season goes to Stephen Drew. So Drew aboard with one out here in the bottom of the first, and right fielder Justin Upton steps in. John Garland with Arizona, and then the Dodgers last year, his combined record just over 4 in the ERA column. The starts and innings pitched significant, and that was the attraction to the Padres, to get a man in here in the rotation, give you innings. There's no way to underestimate the importance of that value.
You figure if you can get John Garland into the 7th inning with a lead with the bullpen of the Padres, you have to like their chances.
Huston, powerful right-handed hitter, had a terrific spring. Hit 386 to lead. Arizona had 6 home runs and drove in 20, 3 less than Chase Headley of the Padres. Headley led the majors in runs driven in during the spring season. So far, John Garland having trouble hitting that outside corner.
Well, sometimes the mound is different on the field than it is in the bullpen. You know, John Garland took his warm-up pitches, but a pitcher has to make an adjustment, whether it's his stride or it's his release point. One good pitch here, one good slider can probably get a double play ball if it's hit right at somebody. With the speed of Upton at the plate, it's going to have to be hit hard right at somebody.
Cabrera at short, and Eckstein at second, squeeze towards second, looking for the double play chance. There's the corner on the breaking ball. Like his counterpart today, Herron, Garland, a product of Southern California, the San Fernando Valley, to Granada Hills High School in the Valley.
Looks like John Garland giving Upton a dose of breaking balls. He does have that breaking ball, the slider. He'll cut it. He'll throw a curveball. But John Garland, when he is on, like Dan Herron, Dick, he's going to get a lot of grounders with that heavy sinker that he throws, and he'll also mix in a changeup.
Justin, just other than just a slight wiggle right there, that's about all you're going to get from him once he locks in.
And he is locked in. 2-1 the count, and a step off. An interesting shot there a moment ago. The skipper A.J. Hinch, but the hitting coach Jack Howell. Last year at this time, they were running the Diamondbacks minor leagues. Hinch, VP of Player Development, Jack Howell, field coordinator. They had these young players, the likes of Upton and Montero and Stephen Drew, through their system. They saw them with their eyes. A little cat and mouse game going on now.
Carr.
That array, the outdoor ball game that we have is broken up by cars in the street. You folks remember a little stick ball against the garage in the front yard?
Had to get out of the street when the cars came.
The 2-1. 2-2.
It's a pretty good pitch after all the shenanigans. Another one right on the outside corner. Good pitch.
What goes on there? A hitter steps out, then the pitcher gets perturbed, then they just go back and forth a few times?
Yeah, I think so. I think at first, Garland and Nick Hundley, the catcher for the Padres, had a little trouble getting squared away on what they wanted to do, and then Justin got tired of waiting, and then Garland, oh, really? Okay. No, I'll step off on you now once you think you're ready.
Throws a little bit low, but a Gold Glover at first base. Did Adrian Gonzalez to corral that one. 2-2 the count to Upton. But a huge spring. He had 22 hits this spring. That led to 20 RBIs for Justin.
Good pitch to run on right here if you're Stephen Drew.
Stays put, pitches up, got away with it. Almost too far up in the zone to do anything with, though. 2-2 the count.
I think that was purposely elevated there.
Really?
Man. Yeah, I really think he tried to get him out with the high fastball. It's up. That's one that John Garland better be careful pitching up around belly button high. He doesn't have the fastball to consistently get that by hitters. I think he got away with that one.
2-2 the count again to the young man out of Great Bridge High School in Virginia. That one dives down and in. Now that's a two-seam fastball running in. When you go up and away like he did, that's across the seams or a four-seam fastball. Remember now, Justin Upton, watched from the bench last year, was not in the opening day starting lineup a season ago. A couple of years ago he was, but watched last year. I don't think we'll see that much anymore. Knock on wood for health, obviously. 3-2, runner goes. On the ground. Everybody's safe. Upton was streaking on by.
That's what happens when you start runners, Darren Sutton. By starting the runner that put the pressure on the shortstop. He got into a hurry. He tried to make the play that wasn't there. By the time he gets it over, Justin kind of broke it down a little bit there before he got across the bag. But fortunately, he was safe.
Oh,
but not by a heck of a lot. Lesson learned right there. Even if you see a ball bobbled out there, all you young players, don't just assume he's going to pick it up and stick it in his pocket. Get down the line.
Well, you saw it very accurately there. It was much closer than we thought it would be. Welcome to Arizona, Adam LaRoche, as he takes low. And we talked about it before. Everth Cabrera had 23 errors last year. When we showed you the Padres defense, Headley moves in from the outfield where he struggled as a left fielder. He plays third. Cabrera plays short. That may hurt Bud Black until they get comfortable. Former big league pitcher, pitched in 3 opening days himself. 1-0 to Adam is up and away. 2-0.
Well, if you're Adam LaRoche, you're just licking your chops right now. A couple of fellas out there in front of you, and now you got a 2-0 count. You should get a fastball. And if you get something in your wheelhouse, we've seen Adam LaRoche hit some long, long balls.
He's had a solid major league career to this point. Played for 3 different teams last year as he fouls that one off. 2-1.
Pretty good pitcher's pitch right there.
You bet. Little dive on a two-seamer. Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and Boston last season. Of course, you remember Dave LaRoche had a solid major league career on the mound, and Adam, for the longest time, was thought of as a pitcher. It was only the Atlanta Braves that were willing to draft him as a hitter. And look what he's done in the major leagues as a hitter. Per 162 games, this young man has clubbed 26 home runs. And in this ballpark, that number may go up. Fouls it off, 2-2. He tells great stories about his dad in Kansas as he grew up in the Midwest, throwing and batting practice in the cage. He had a backyard cage. And as soon as Adam would pull a ball, just one time, his dad would set the stuff down and say, "See you tomorrow. Done throwing to you today."
Well, if you're going to go up there and just try to pull the ball and not do what I taught you, well, go ahead and pitch with yourself here. I love that. Yep, you're done.
And he would hold true to form. The next morning is when he'd start again. Shot. Foul. Now, that was a cut fastball, correct?
It looked like it might have been a cut fastball. It was something about 5 miles an hour less than his best fastball. So I think you're right, Darren. I think it was that little cut fastball. Yeah, inside. So right there, pulling that ball, that would have meant Dave LaRoche was going to walk off on him in the cage right there, right?
Oh, he would have had an iced tea in the house already. He would have been sitting out on the porch. Adam would have been all by himself hitting off a tee. 2-2 the count. That unique stance that he has always used blew him away with a high fastball there. Went in, it was tantalizing, then went up, and that looked even bigger. Notoriously a slow starter. He hopes to avert that this year, but it doesn't start that way.
Yeah, quality pitch right under the hands, up and out of the zone. LaRoche can't catch up with it. Big out number 2 for John Garland and the Padres.
And now Mark Reynolds. 44 home runs a season ago. Slugging nearly 550 Reynolds. He drove in 102 and he scored 98. Swing and a miss on a cut fastball, 0-1 the count. Mark drove in 34 Diamondbacks last year with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That put him in the top 5 in the National League.
Right here, instead of a long ball, you'd love to just see a lousy single somewhere and make it 1-0.
Garland looking to exploit his teammate. He knows any faults and any holes that Mark may have, and he looks to execute.
And right here also, you want to take advantage of a Padre miscue. John Garland's already got 3 guys out this inning, but unfortunately an error behind him has led to Mark Reynolds being able to get an opportunity here in this situation. So if you're Reynolds, you got to make the Padres pay.
Out of the University of Virginia, a mid-round pick, not thought of as a bonus baby type from the moment he signed his contract. A couple of years back, Chad Tracy banged up. Brian Barton, the minor leagues, he's banged up. Augie Ojeda, we can't bring him up. He's banged up. I'll give this Reynolds kid a call. He's never been back.
John Garland really putting on the brakes. All right, John, go ahead and throw it.
Don't forget, every
Let's go,
time
John.
a Diamondback hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes will donate $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. John Garland allowing us to do promotional reads now. Pitch is low. 2-1 the count. Folks, Gracie up here imploring him to keep moving them. Now the enemy, John Garland, in another uniform.
He's had himself a very good career. He's been on been a part of a world champion rotation with the Chicago White Sox. Did some good things with the Angels.
Cut fastball outside, 3-1. Well, he's pitching carefully.
He knows if he makes a mistake, Mark Reynolds can hit a ball 550 feet on you.
This guy, he's waiting on deck. He proved what he could do offensively. It's not a tiptoe through the tulip situation anymore with this Diamondbacks lineup. It's just not that easy. Right, left, the 3-1. buried it in. Boy, good pitch. 3-2.
Challenged Reynolds with a fastball, middle in right there. Power on power. Here's my best fastball. And here's your best swing. Looks like he wanted to go away with it. It looked like Reynolds' barrel was right there. He just got underneath it and fouled it back. Runners will be on the move here. 3-2 with 2 outs. Nothing like a good gapper right here. And let's watch Justin Upton run.
Drive on into right center field after that 4-13 sign. The runners on the move. Here they go. Here it comes. Takes outside. Ball for Jack Howell. Saw Mark Reynolds. He ran things in the minor leagues when Reynolds got to pro ball. Here's what he remembers when fighting for the young mid-round draft pick.
And I said, yes, you're right. We need to find a position for him. Yes, you're right. He gets out on that front foot. He's a front foot hitter. He can roll stuff over. He can swing at pitches out of the zone. I said, but when he stays back and he uses his hands, they're the most powerful, quickest hands we've ever had in this organization. You know, so trying to get the coaches and, you know, and that I just saw that one unbelievable quality that you can't teach. You can't teach that type of power.
But you can teach patience, and he showed some right there.
Well, you can, but it takes time, Darren. It's not something you can just work on in the batting cage for a couple of days. Okay, now I'm a patient hitter.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of years of just seeing pitches and understanding which pitches you can handle and which pitches, well, you need to let pass. Slowly but surely, Reynolds is starting to do that.
Bases loaded for Miguel Montero. Cut fastball high and inside, 1-0. 16 home runs, 59 runs batted in last year. A season in which he was handed an opportunity and he grabbed it with a death grip. And he's not about to let it go. Really worked on his defense as Garland continues to work slowly.
Did he work this slow with the Diamondbacks last year?
I don't know. I thought he worked pretty quickly. The 1-0. 1-1.
Pitch. Just right at the bottom of the kneecaps.
That man's still waiting. He worked quickly through a 1-2-3. Dan Herron. Loves some support early on. Power all over the diamond. And he'll do that a lot, a little bit late on it. But when he's right, he really can drive the ball with emphasis to left.
Sometimes when Miguel struggles, he really is, it's because he's really swinging hard. He's a strong young man. He doesn't need to swing hard to drive in runs. And now he's going to have to fight his way out of a 1-2 hole with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Which he did as well as anybody on his team last year. 0-2, 1-2. This man came up bases quite a bit. He was able to dig himself out of holes. Pitch number 30 is coming from the right-hander. Line drive, base hit, right center field. 1 run is in. Here comes Upton. Reynolds on his way to third. The Arizona Diamondbacks lead it 2-0. You bet Miguel Montero again digs out of a hole.
We're talking about team offense a lot this spring. And you just saw a real nice heaping helping of team offense there. And it all started after the error. You saw Mark Reynolds battle and draw a walk. Then you saw Miguel Montero. Okay, if you're going to walk Mark Reynolds, I'm going to make you pay. And with 2 strikes, he got a mistake, and he made John Garland and the Padres pay.
From June until the end of the season, he was incredible. One of the best offensive catchers in the game. Chris Young, another young man we watch very closely as he takes outside. 2-0, Arizona leads it. Young just 1 for 6 in his career against Garland. You see what he struggled through last year. On base percentage of just .311. 15 home runs. Time served down in the minor leagues, sent down to AAA. He struggled so much. Spoke with him last year, and I think it's safe to say, Gracie, of all the people that couldn't wait to turn their calendar from December to January, it's this young man.
I don't think there's any question. 09, certainly a forgettable year. Not only for a lot of people with the economy the way it is, but also for Chris Young when it comes to baseball.
The 1-1. Line drive to right. Coming in, looking into that sun, making the play is Will Venable. Miguel Montero, as he did all season long last year, proves that his bat is here to stay. Brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. And by Blimpie, America's sub shop. Opening day here at Chase. Got him in earlier with some "Let's get some runs" on the front of his T-shirt. You bet Diamondbacks already living up to that T-shirt. The big slugger to lead it off, Kyle Blanks. Young man born in Pennsylvania, just 23 years old. Grew up in New Mexico where he played baseball and basketball. 6'7", about 260 pounds.
Man, look at the size of this dude.
This is a big fella.
You kidding me?
10 homers last year in his brief time in the major leagues. That pitch is away.
Guys like this, back in my day, didn't play baseball. Right? Like professional wrestlers. He played cards on his back.
2-1 to count. They're excited in San Diego to see what he can do. Pops that one up to the right side. If he's battled anything, that one gets into the seats. It's that.
The pop up
underneath the baseball, hitting the bottom side, and it's been the strikeouts. But a young slugger, doesn't that happen sometimes?
I think so. I think you get labeled as a guy that is a power prospect, and you want to show your power, and because of that, you get under too many balls.
Broke his bat. Well, he buried that fastball in. Kelly Johnson is there. Kyle Blanks is retired. There it is, as we spoke of, as Gracie mentioned, defensively. Let's take a look at how the Diamondbacks stack up. Connor Jackson in left, Chris Young, Justin Upton in center and in right. Bo Porter working with them. We'll talk about that. It's Reynolds, Drew. We get to know Johnson and LaRoche as infielders. Miguel Montero working with Dan Heron. Connor Jackson. Where do I go? Where do you want me? A little bit over?
Hey.
You got it.
What?
That one is fouled off. Now that's Bo Porter's job. Bo Porter, a new member of this coaching staff.
And one of the best in the business.
Old teammate of yours.
Old teammate of mine with the Chicago Cubs, and one of the best outfield coaches in the game. Maybe slightly unorthodox, Darren Sutton, but it works.
Well, he's very unorthodox, but you know what? He's about standards. He talks about standards, not goals. He'll tell his players, especially Upton, Young, and Jackson.
Well, he believes in standards, but he believes in hard work.
Well, that's the only way you get there.
Exactly. And he was tough on these guys all spring, including Justin Upton, including Chris Young and Connor Jackson.
2-1 the count. Pitch is high, 3-1 the count. There's the stories that came with Bo Porter from Florida. here to Arizona how tough he could be on Hanley Ramirez, a young man about to go out and win a batting title. Don't wear spikes to come out, take infield, then you sit and watch. Bouncing ball, that's a fair ball. His outfielders will be in motion. Oh, to play it into the corner safely. Shoot it back into the cutoff man. That for Chase Headley. That is a two-bagger. Headley was hitting just 190 in his career against Heron prior to that.
Well, that's all part of being a successful hitter, whether you're hitting 190 off a guy or not. If you get to 3-1 or 2-0, now you've turned Dan Heron into a one-pitch pitcher, and that's a fastball pitcher. He got it, he was looking for it, and he ripped it down the line.
Young man born in Colorado, went to the University of Tennessee. That one runs in, and that's a cut fastball. 1-0 the count to Will Venable. So you see opportunities this year for the likes of Venable, the pride of Princeton, for Everett Cabrera, who's a little further down. That's the difference in these Padres. The final 62 games, they played about 600 ball last year. And so coming into spring, it's not that there weren't spots that could be won, but they had a few more answers to their questions.
No question. No question about it. Bud Black knew coming in that most of his team was set. Oh, good fastball right under the hands there of Venable to jump ahead 1-2. Watch where Miguel Montero sets up. Watch his glove. Ball goes right to it. That's pitching. That should set up a split finger, Darren Sutton.
27-year-old California native Will Venable, as we said, went to Princeton. He bounced that one to right. Looked like a split, but it was up, just up to his head. Tagging and heading to third is Headley.
Justin slow to get that back in. Headley was not tagging up until he saw that Justin took his time, and then decided to scamper to third. As you said, it was a split, and it hung. Boy, did it hung. And
I'm with you. And he was hanging around, and then he changed his mind.
Watch how long it takes Justin to get this thing back in. Now a wild pitch or an infield hit will cut the lead in half, so Dan Heron going to have to take matters into his own hands.
Nick Hundley, 238, 8 homers, 30 RBIs last year. Gracie's talking about is a man with the split. That one runs in. A pitch that when you get ahead, you want to throw in the dirt. You truly want to, or even at times a hard breaking ball. Well, I mean, if you're Miguel Montero now, because of that runner moving up, you've got to block.
You've got to become a wall back there.
Hot shot right there. On a screamer is Mark Reynolds. Hundley, he on the flip side had owned Dan Heron. He continues to own him, but he's got a guy behind him to pick him up. 10 D-Bucks. That's great on your ticket. You have some cash, if you will, that you can use at the ballpark for food and merchandise, plus a $5 Circle K gift card. Packages start at just $130. 602-462-4794. Or visit dbacks.com/10pack. Kelly Johnson. When he was a young man, like that young man, he was a Brave. He came up through the Braves organization. Well, that's a great shot. He's got his batting gloves. Dare I say, as that changeup drops in there, that you would call that young man.
Oh, big leaguer.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Don't like really seeing the batting gloves. I'd rather see him go with just some pine tar and rosin. But,
well, fair enough.
Work with
but
it.
His intentions are right.
Sure.
A little pine tar, that helps you hold on to the
helps
snack.
You hold on to the candy.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Don't eat the paper. Don't eat the paper. Eat the fun dip, not the paper. Attaboy.
That pitch is in.
John Garland threw 32 pitches in the first inning, folks, so he's going to have to become much more economical, or he's going to be out of there after about 4 innings if he's not careful.
Kelly Johnson, David Eckstein goes down to a knee kangaroo hop, and the man he called a fabulous first baseman there to bail him out on the other side, Adrian Gonzalez.
Good play here. You see Eckstein, he's in between, throws the glove up, comes up with it cleanly, and then depend on the first baseman over there to bail you out. Nice play by the veteran.
Dan Herron gets ready to hit. Todd Walsh down, a couple of booths down, and doing a great job pre and post game show. Todd, what's going on down there?
Well, you know, guys, I've been waiting since 2001 to have a place to hang out here. I've been sort of a carpetbagger, but now I have I guess it's a booth. We don't have a name for it yet. I think we're going to call it the Think Tank this afternoon. Jack Magruder from FoxSportsArizona.com down to my left, past Brad Steinke, and to my right is Joe Borowski, pre and post game world. They're doing a live web chat. Joe, what's the mood? What's the mood of the people, the Diamondbacks fans? What are they asking you?
I'll tell you what, first of all, they're excited about those first 2 runs scored, but a lot of people asking what we think about the chances of Diamondbacks competing this year. A lot of questions about LaRoche and what he brings to the team, so it's fun to interact with the fans and tell them what we think.
Did anybody ask about the pajamas you wore on the pregame show?
Yeah, my wife sent me a text saying he's got some nerve sending out pajamas.
Oh. I have infuriated your wife on the first show of the year.
I don't know. She was watching, and she wrote me a next text and said, "What's Todd talking about, pajamas?"
I liked your outfit. I thought it was stylish.
She was nice. She said, "You looked fantastic."
As your wife should say.
You know, I paid her a lot of money for that.
I'm sure you did. How long are you going to be multitasking here? There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Dan Herron is down. How long are you going to be doing the web chat before we can talk post game?
Probably the first 2-3 innings, and then slow down a little bit, and I'll have to get to looking at the game a little bit more and putting together a good post game with you.
My man, Joe Borowski, and please, my best to your wife. I don't mean anything I say around here, okay?
Yeah, it's all in fun. She knows that.
I hope so. Guys, we'll send it back to you. It's good to be back.
Good to have you back, and good to have Joe with us. Connor Jackson, leadoff hitter again. This is what we talk about. By the way, that booth we saw Todd and Joe. I mean, are you kidding me with that? That's ridiculous over there.
They've arrived.
Like 300 people in that booth. Popped up to the right side. Eckstein going back. And again to make the play is Will Venable. Got to get that booth cleared out. I don't know. Are they allowed down there? Stars and guys that are headed to the Hall of Fame. We know up here we have a man that's headed in that direction. Legendary quarterback and recently retired quarterback Kurt Warner threw out the first pitch today. Congratulations for you on the point that you've reached in your life, all you've accomplished, and the piece that you come about saying, you know what, I'm ready to move and do some other things in my life.
You know, it's fun. It's it's tough because you never know when that time's going to come and when you're going to make that decision, and it's the right decision. But I'm very much at peace, and I'm very much excited about what stands in front of me. But it's difficult. It's going to be hard, I think, come fall to watch these guys out on the field playing. But I'm excited about what's in store.
How much does it mean to you that even in a baseball stadium, you get the biggest ovation of anybody when you go out there? How much does that mean?
Well, it's always special, when you feel like you've made some kind of an impact with what you've done and where you've been. And, I've been fortunate that I feel like I've done that. And especially over the last couple of years, what we accomplished here in Arizona, the community kind of came along with us. And that's what's fun about sports, is that it's not just those guys on the football field, but a whole community joins in, and everything you do together. And, so it's obviously nice to come out here and have people appreciate what I brought to the table.
What's easier to do, hit a streaking Steve Breston or throw out that first pitch like you did today?
Well, just because I've practiced a lot more, definitely hitting Steve Breston, so hard because I haven't thrown a ball in probably 10 years. So I was back in.
We called it a strike.
Okay, I called it a strike. I think he did a nice job of pulling it back. The ump might not have seen it, but it is. It is one of those things I haven't done. I threw in my backyard just a little bit to get a feel for it, and it's.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
I love that.
Awesome.
Because I got all these texts about you better throw a good pitch, you better represent.
Yeah,
especially when I throw for a living, everybody expects you to come out here and rip one down the pipe. So I felt a little bit of pressure, but it was fun.
That's great. You know what, Gracie? You guys kill me. All you athletes kill me because I think you all reached your level out of your fear of embarrassment. You always want to be totally prepared, and you're all competitive. You guys, you're going to go out there. I love that you play catch.
It's the fear of embarrassing yourself, and
so much so,
and
because the expectations
and the amount of baloney you're going to get from your buddies.
That's
and
exactly
teammates.
right.
I mean, you're going to get it. And you're going to get it bad.
There's more expectation. I mean, when you come out here as a president, of course they want you to throw a strike, but if you don't, well, okay, he's the president. But when you throw a ball for a living, you better go out there and at least do something that that you can. Your kids aren't embarrassed about it. So that was the toughest part.
Well, I won't be talking to you anymore because the biggest Cardinals fan in the world sits right over here in the yellow shirt.
Great.
So I'll be done speaking with you. So you guys go ahead and talk football now.
You know what? Yeah, let's not talk football right now. Well, maybe, because are you going to become a little league coach or something like that for football, for baseball? I know your son plays in the same league my son plays in.
I'm not really sure, but one thing I want to do is I want to make sure that they want me to coach before I jump in and start directing them around, because I've played, and what you find out with your kids is you're the last person they really want to coach them. They'll listen to everybody else, but they don't want dad to tell them. And so
maybe that was my problem with my 9-year-old.
So right now I'm just going to kick back. I want to watch them do what they want to do, and then hopefully at some point they'll respect me enough from a football standpoint. They'll say, Dad, can you come out and help me, whether it's in the backyard or coaching their team.
Tony Gwynn, 0-1 the count. Kurt Warner joining us up here in the booth. And now, would you ever want to do this sometime, what Gracie does?
I've had a lot of people talk to me about it. And, I love the game of football. And I love, what I think I could bring to the table, the expertise that I have. And so, but right now it's just a matter of balancing that with family. You want to make sure you don't get caught into something that you're doing just as much work now as you were when you were playing. So I want to balance that out. But I love the game, and it's something that I definitely could see myself doing in the short term.
Can you see yourself?
You got to wear a suit and tie? Man,
gotta do it.
That's the one difference with the job that we had. That was the nice thing. You could throw on sweats every day. You didn't have to worry about dressing up. But, I could pull it off a few times a year.
I think you'd be all right. Something tells me you have a few decent suits somewhere hidden in your closet back there.
I got a couple, and the good thing is there's not 162 games, so I can get away with 16 or so.
Darren has about 3, and he uses them all year long, so don't worry.
That's what the dry cleaners are for. Kurt Warner joining us, throwing out the first pitch, kicking things off, and that one is a bouncing ball. Roach is there, and covering. Thank you for coming up.
Fitzgerald right there.
Way to get things started. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Have a good to see you.
Sir Warner joining us, threw a strike before this game like he did his whole career. It's opening day for your lawn. Visit your local Lowe's on Saturday, April 10th, Scott's National Lawn Care Day. And learn tips from lawn care pros. Brought to you by our good friends and partners with Lowe's. Stephen Drew to lead things off. The 27-year-old shortstop, the Georgia native out of Florida State is where he plays. Top pick of the Diamondbacks out of FSU as that pitch dives down and away. For each hit from now through the end of the season, the Diamondbacks get Amika. Will donate $10 to the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Phoenix. That's his hot zone, and that's a good thing. That is on the ground. Garland uses his body to knock that one down. Got maybe around the shin. He's hobbling just a bit.
He's not going to rub it. Let's see where this ball gets him. It looked around the knee area. Go right in the shin. That hurts. Yeah, now he's. Maybe I should rub it because it really hurts. Well, he's a tough guy.
That's what you're supposed to do, right? With a sinker, take it right back through the box.
Exactly right. He did everything right. He just couldn't get it past John Garland. Because of that, a quick out. Let's see if that thing comes back to bite John Garland a little later on this afternoon.
Well, it was an error that came back to bite John Garland when Garland was facing this man, Justin Upton, back in the first inning. Bouncing ball off the glove of Garland, and it trickles into shallow center field. And Upton with an infield hit. He's been on twice today. Well, he took it right back through the middle as well.
It's hard to chop the ball over the head of a 6'5" pitcher, but he does just that. Off the glove it goes. Nothing Eckstein can do, and that's a base runner here. Justin Upton. I wonder if he'll have the steal sign. Is it too early in the year for me to start giving steal signs, Darren?
You give steal signs all you want.
Right. Let's just see if he's got it.
Matt Williams down there in his ear. Bo Porter giving the steal sign. Good to see Matty down there in uniform. We haven't talked a lot about that at this point.
He looks good in the uniform. That's where he belongs. He belongs in a uniform. Don't you think?
He pinch hit for you on weekends on occasion, but
and did very well.
I think he likes that. That's what he longed for. The old school stirrups on. 2-0 the score as that one grabs the outside corner. Like a changeup.
It looked like a changeup. It was. And if you're thinking stolen base, John Garland, one of the better pitchers in all of baseball at holding runners on base.
47% have been thrown out with Garland on the mound in his career, nearly half the time. And he gets credit for the work he does. League average about 29-30%. He shoots that one the
He's
other
just
way.
quick to the plate. He varies his times. A decent pickoff move. But he does a good job, and that's all part of being a successful pitcher, Darren, is being able to shut down the opponent's running game, and he does that.
Whether it's quick to the plate when you have to be, or being comfortable and calm enough, serene enough, if you will, just to stand there for a good 10, 12 seconds until somebody steps out. Put some concrete in the feet of Justin Upton. That's the other part of it, especially young pitchers. They get jumpy. 0-2 the count. That pitch is up. It is in. It needs to be pointed out because LaRoche will talk about it with openness. He has never been an April hitter. Below 200 in his career. And you get him to August, and he's a killer.
Just got to get him to August.
He heats up with the summer, but let's hope for Adam it'll be different this year. Did he? Yes, he did. Now that's twice that Garland has been able to tease him, tantalize him, tempt him, whatever word you want to use, with a high fastball.
One was up and in for the strikeout. Yeah, that bat just got a little bit too far. Adam didn't think so, but home plate umpire, veteran Brian Gorman, said, yeah, that was too much. And for the second time this afternoon, he's a strikeout victim.
Mark walked back in the first inning. He has seen his walk rates go up every year. On a pitch that maybe he would say, I might have waved at. Two to nothing, the Diamondbacks lead it. They do so on Miguel Montero's 2 RBI single with 2 outs and 2 strikes on him back in the first inning. I think he watches from the on-deck circle. Here we go, the cat and mouse game again. Mark, born in Kentucky. Strike left field, Banks to the wall. That one's gone. The Diamondbacks lead it 4-0. Mark Grace, did he even hit that ball?
Well, he hit it okay. He didn't get all of it. He got under it a bit. That's why it was a moonshot. But he's at the point, Darren and folks, that he doesn't have to get all of the ball to hit a home run. That's how doggone strong that young man is. It's a breaking ball that stays up. But this thing's still got about 15 rows deep, Darren. Boy, it would be nice to be that strong.
With that homer, by the way, Fulton Holmes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association, and that's a good thing.
Another good thing is, Darren, all 4 runs this afternoon have come when 2 are out. That's what demoralizes an opponent. That's what demoralizes an opposing pitcher. Those big 2-out, 2-run homers and 2-run singles.
You're 1 ground ball away, 1 strikeout away from being back in the dugout.
Next thing you know, 4-zip Diamondbacks.
Breeze is swirl around this ballpark. Ball flying a little bit better with the roof open.
It kind of makes you wonder if maybe that ball did have a little help to left field. It went way out of here.
That one runs into Montero.
We'll ask him after the game if he got all that one. I'm going to say he did not.
Real.
No, when he gets all of the ball, you know.
Yes, because when he gets all of a ball, it's into Fridays.
Yes. Into somebody's chili mac up there.
Or really into anybody's upper furthest section of any stadium. Montero shoots that one down the line. John Garland did not like pitching at Chase Field last year.
And said so.
About it. It became public information.
Yeah.
Would share the fact that he didn't like it.
He wasn't shy about saying it. And there's your numbers.
in. Walk. Montero. So Montero has singled, drove in a pair, now he has walked. Montero with 2 RBIs, Mark Reynolds with 2, and now Chris Young. Opening day starter for Bud Black. Big Chris Young goes tomorrow. And for the Padres, as they continue to look at a different look. Kevin Correa, who had a great spring, he pitches as the number 3, and then a young man by the name of Clayton Richard and Matt Latos round out their rotation. Outside corner, strike 1 to Chris Young. 26 years old, out of Houston, Texas. Had an on-base percentage this spring of over 400. Those numbers get mentioned on day 1 of the season. And that's it. That one is away. The funny thing about, we talk about these starting pitchers that Bud Black hopes that he gives the baseball to, and that's it. They used 15 different starting pitchers last year.
Yeah, it was Neapolitan for Bud Black last year. Finally, some guys settled in nicely for him towards the end of the season. They played good baseball at the end of the season.
Neapolitan, that's a good description.
Thank you so much.
Well, you've been on a vocab roll today. It's a bouncer. It's a foul ball up along the line. Gracie doing the national show, folks, before the game, talking about Connor Jackson and Valley Fever.
Right.
And you described it as
indigenous
oh my goodness,
to the state of Arizona. Good. It's that spore down in this Sonoran desert.
It's a fungus
land.
Correct?
Yeah, it's a spore, a fungus.
But you use the word indigenous.
Indigenous. And you know, for some reason, for about 5 minutes after that interview, I had a headache.
It's because you've been memorizing a dictionary all winter. I love it. 1 and 2 the count. That San Diego State education shining through again. Young pops it up to the right side. Gonzalez thinks he might have room, and he doesn't. It bounces on the dugout and into the seats it goes. That man right there at first base. Now, he didn't have the space that time, but he's a big guy. I mean, he takes up a lot of space over there, but I don't know if there's anybody better at first base in the National League. He won the Gold Glove again.
He's got great hands, and even though he's slow of foot, Darren, he's got good defensive feet. He's light on his feet as a defender. He's not a fast base runner, but he's got good feet, keeps himself in good position at all times, and he's got just really terrific hands.
1 and 2 the count. Let's see if Young can dig out of a hole. That one is away. He won't bite. The one thing you hope for Padres fans, for a young man who grew up in San Diego and Tijuana, Mexico, and Adrian Gonzalez, is that he keeps wearing that hat for a long, long time.
Well, it's going to be tough to see that. I just don't see it happen. I don't see the Padres coming up with the amount of money it's going to take to keep Adrian Gonzalez. But I would love to see it because, you know, he belongs in San Diego. That's where he wants to be. Is Chris Young swings and misses for strike 3.
Adrian might belong in San Diego, but Mark Reynolds, he belongs here at Chase Field, especially with the roof open. He hit the bottom side of that baseball. Somebody's got a souvenir.
way of understanding his strengths. He knows everything that he needs to know about the hitter, and he executes a game plan. You watch him throw his bullpens, you watch him throw his pregame warm-up. We talk about that quiet burn and that intensity. He's got it. He doesn't want to give in at all.
And he's also got 4 runs of support at this point, which makes things for a guy like Dan Heron scary if you're the opposing team. A breaking ball. Now, he hasn't thrown too many. That was just a get-me-over breaking ball. The next time's in the hole, 0-2. Over the last 3 seasons, Heron, even against pesky guys like this, has kept the bases clean. It's a simple thing to talk about statistically, but if you have fewer base runners, you're going to succeed more.
It's that simple.
Now, it's not that simple to do.
That's exactly, yeah, it's easy for us to sit up here and say that, yeah. Very simple.
To the right side, LaRoche is there. He streaks to the bag in time for the out. Walks and hits. You put those two together, that's what goes on per inning of work. And it's interesting when you talk about keeping the base pads clean. Look at this club. Now, if clean base pads equals success, I'd say all these guys are pretty successful.
Those are Cy Young Award winners. Every one of them. Except for Dan Heron.
And a Cy Young candidate. Every year he takes the mound, a perennial all-star. As that one is fouled off.
Well, looking to challenge big Adrian Gonzalez. That was just Powder Mountain right there. Here it is. I got a 4-run lead. I'm coming right after you, big boy. And he beat him with that fastball, Darren. I mean, that is just right down the middle, belt high.
Got the late call of the outside corner from Brian Gorman.
Got a little generous outside corner there. Thank you very much.
I could work with that, said the big league starting pitcher.
Wow.
That's it. 3 pitches. Good night. Gonzalez saying, what am I supposed to do with that?
Gonzalez like, I know that's Dan Heron out there, but I'm Adrian Gonzalez, and if you're going to keep giving him that much, that's a strike. That was a strike. I think strike 2 was outside, but that was a pitcher's perfect pitch right there. 3 fastballs, 3 strikes. Wow.
Here's Kyle Blanks. Popped up to the second baseman back in the second inning.
Oh, dear.
There will need to be somebody else as he waves over that cut fastball, because Adrian, in those 40 homers, he had about a third of the Padres' homers last year. Gonzalez did. Young man like this. High fly. He went back to the cut fastball again. Boy, that was easy. Are you kidding me? Wow.
That's what you do after your team scores you 2 runs. Go have a quick shutdown inning.
9 pitches. opening day to Chase Field. Garland ready to go to work. Our AT&T trivia question: who is the only pitcher in Major League Baseball history to throw a no-hitter on opening day? That man's given up one hit.
I remember an opening day no-hitter, but it was done by a couple or three guys for the then California Angels.
Okay.
And it was Mark Langston and Mike Witt, wasn't it? But that were we not? It has to be a one-person no-hitter.
One-person guy, I'm thinking. I know.
Were you working with the Angels when that happened?
I don't think so. No, I know Mike Witt threw one to end the season by himself. Last day of the season. I'm trying to think about opening day. Johnson shoots that one to left field there to haul it in. A screamer the other way is Kyle Blanks. So Johnson is over 2 with the ground out and a line out.
He has hammered 2 balls and 0 luck. He was robbed by David Eckstein his first time up on a diving play, and then just a bullet out to left fielder Blanks.
I was talking with Kelly about this opportunity as Dan Herron gets ready to hit. He's really excited for a fresh chance. As he said before the game, it's wonderful to learn as Dan takes strike 1 from the Braves way, from the Braves organization, from Bobby Cox, but there's certainly a more settled feeling with that organization in the clubhouse with the coaching staff. Johnson went on to say there's a bit of an edginess with this club. A lot of guys are new, coaches, players. There's a bit of an anticipation, feeling a little bit more pressure that we feel from coaching staff down, and he likes it. He likes that edginess. That's a fair ball. Everybody's safe.
I think it seems like Adrian Gonzalez just gave up on the play, assuming it was a foul ball.
Paul Nard right behind, saying fair ball.
Well, first and foremost, it's not Paul Nard's call until it gets by the bat.
Brian Gorman home plate up.
So I wonder if Brian Gorman might have pointed it fair. Because Paul Nard did point it fair, but it's not his call until it gets past third base. Then it becomes his call.
Gorman was pointing fair the whole time too, Gracie. We saw it on the shot.
I think you're right. And that's just an education to young players. Go ahead and let the umpires umpire. You make the plays and catch the ball. Does that make sense?
It makes all the sense in the world. We've seen a couple of MVP candidates and perennial all-stars knocking out the cobwebs here on opening day. Upton with a situation running the bases earlier. Adrian Gonzalez now. These are 2 of the better players in the game. Yeah. 0-1 the count to Connor Jackson.
Yeah, everybody sees things differently. The umpire might see the ball differently than you do, so go ahead and make the play. Even if you think it's a couple inches foul, go ahead and make the play and rely on the umpire to do his job.
They gave Gonzalez the air there.
Well, they should give it to Headley, I think, because the ball was in the dirt. The throw was in the dirt.
That one is low. 2-1 the count.
And I'll always come to a first baseman's rescue.
I know you will. It is an error on the third baseman, Chase Headley.
But that's a play that Adrian Gonzalez is going to make a lot of times. And I think he just gave up on the play.
The 2-1 to Connor. Pops that one up to the right side. Some wind swirling around. Eckstein calling off Gonzalez. And David is there to make the play for the out. Just a moment ago, again, both umpires, both Gorman and Nard, although it's Gorman's call, saying that's a fair ball.
Yeah, he was pointing it fair the whole time. You're right.
So Connor is erased. Connor 0 for 3 after a big spring. Now here's Stephen Drew, who's single and a run scored, grounded back through the box. Gonzalez letting everyone know he will be playing behind Dan Herron at first as the wind blows around this yard. It's amazing that players are able to play outside with wind.
I can't believe it.
Goodness.
Boy, the baseball players have just come so far in that respect. They'll play outdoors in the wind now.
How do they do it?
I don't know. Just
it's funny though. We kind of poke fun at ourselves because in the heart of the summer, we are thrilled that napkin's not blowing around. We're thrilled in July and August that there is a roof and it's cooler in here.
doggone right.
It becomes unique now in my 4th year calling games here that the perspective of outdoor elements don't usually come into play here at Chase Field. It's kind of fun.
Derek Hall does a great job of decision making when it comes to the roof. He likes it open.
You bet he likes it open.
So do we.
And he likes to say yes. Fotsy, he calls it. Find a way to say yes. But, if you're going to complain to Derek about the roof being open, don't. Because it's good. It should be open. It should be open. Just send your complaints to me. Then I'll just delete them. 1 and 2 the kill.
For these lucky fans sitting in that sunshine, man, that sunshine feels good.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, exactly. Just wear some sunglasses if you struggle.
That's exactly right. We need you tough. 1-2 dives down and in on a cut fastball. Don't forget to get all the latest D-backs gear straight from the source at dbacks.com. Browse from the largest selection of T-shirts, hats, jerseys, and more. Visit the official online shop. Do so at dbacks.com. Great place to go shopping. Get yourself a jersey made.
Whose jersey are you going to wear this year?
Steven? No. Nope. I've made my decision. And this year, no, not Matt Williams. This year, I'm changing it up a little bit. I was going to go with a play. I'm going with a Kirk Gibson jersey.
You're going with Gibby?
Oh, yeah.
I like it. I like it.
That's what I'm wearing.
So you're going coach. I'll have to go player.
Well, since I'm now older than all the coaches, because that one is fouled on. Used to be I felt like I could relate to players. Those days are long gone. Who are you going with?
Well, I'm trying to think of maybe.
That's enough of Matt, by the way.
Yeah, Matty. Time for you to go away, Matt.
That's it.
Go away, Matt. Thank you. But maybe a guy I used to play with. Or, Matt Williams comes to mind. Bo Porter. Augie Ojeda was a teammate with the Cubs.
Slow curveball, drilled center field. Wind going back, looking up. High off the balcony and shoots Connor ways away. Do we have 4 bases? Stephen Drew touches third and inside the park home run.
Gets caught napping. This ball stays in the ballpark, but where is Kyle Blanks? He is nowhere. He was sitting watching in left field, and Stephen Drew easily circles him. Don't get to make a call like that very often, do you, Darren Sutton? A very rare play indeed, the inside the park homer, which means I am going to get Stephen Drew's jersey this year.
Really? All right, that means you won't be saying much anymore in the air. He's talking, though. You'll be chirping when you get inside the park.
All right. And that is, once again, that is now 6 runs, Darren Sutton scored with 2 outs on the board.
Oh, great point. Another rally here with 2 outs. By the way, the last inside the park home run at Chase Field, a member of the Cincinnati Reds in 06 when Felipe Lopez hit an inside the park home run. Just streaking up the line, he is erased. He was not able to streak like Stephen Drew was. Tony Gwynn went to get it. Kyle Blanks was later on. Stephen Drew said, if you guys can't work together, I'll take 4. They're small. The park homer for Stephen Drew, and Stephen Drew, he may have, as we said, cashed in on a bad ricochet and a younger, especially left fielder. As that one is a strike, but there's only one way you earn an inside the park home run. Got to hit it far and have to find a nook and a cranny of the ballpark, but you can't be Cadillac.
That's exactly right. And Stephen Drew, we're going to see shortly. Didn't take anything for granted. Didn't think he hit a home run out of the ballpark. He busted his fanny the whole way as that one's ripped down the right field line. Just foul.
Tony Womack receiving a standing ovation when announced here at the ballpark. Hit the first ever inside the park home run in Diamondbacks history.
That's my buddy right there. My nickname for him was FD. Favorite Diamondback.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was my favorite Diamondback. Loved playing with him. He looks like he could hit an inside the park homer right now, doesn't he?
Boy, he really does. That had to make him feel good. I know it made all these fans feel good. As soon as they put him on the big screen in center field, erupted the ovation. You know,
what a push.
Headley's erased our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play, and again, you have to run hard.
All right, contact's made. That's not getting in the Cadillac. That's busting it, and that's why he ended up scoring. This day and age, it seems like everybody wants to admire their home runs, flip their bat, do a dance. Not Stephen Drew. Had that happen, he'd be standing on second base right now, and it would have cost the Diamondbacks a run. Instead, he took nothing for granted, busted his fanny out of the box, and ends up hitting a home run anyway.
The baseball gods tend to even things up quite a bit. I can remember a couple of seasons ago when Stephen on a championship club hit about 230 and had a lot of those fly balls that ended up in the outfielder's gloves. A lot of them. I mean, really hit a lot of 365, 70-foot fly ball outs. But he always ran just like that. He always ran hard. This is why it worked out here. And there's finally where blanks hit.
And Stephen Drew's speed. I mean, once that ball hit the wall and ricocheted, it was all over.
And for a Diamondback, that's only for a Diamondback. The second time, as that one is popped up, had him out in front of a split-fingered fastball. That one is put away by Mark Reynolds. Only the second time in Chase Field that a home team player has hit an inside the park homer. Luis Gonzalez, Gonzo, did it, your teammate, back in July against San Diego's Brett Tomko. So that's only twice a Diamondback has done it in this ballpark. 2002, July 28th. And by the way, that's 6 runs, free tacos.
All right.
Is a cut fastball.
Yeah.
Right? Anytime the D-backs score 6 or more runs, Taco Bell gives away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink. Between 4 and 6 at participating locations.
Now, do you like the
screen?
Do you like the hard shell tacos or the soft shell tacos?
I like the soft shell. My
Chicken,
daughters like
beef?
the beef.
You like the beef?
We all like to bring home the soft tacos.
The soft ones?
Yes.
Okay. Swing and a miss. Ant Heron continues to pour it on. I kind of like the hard shell tacos.
Do you?
But yeah, I'm still not crazy about those tacos that have arms. Don't really care for those yet.
Bouncing ball, Stephen Drew, Mr. Inside the Park, but also a solid shortstop. Dan Heron, he's got arms, but that right one is a lot better than that left one today.
It's not a taco though.
On this, the opening day 2010 at Chase Field. And about fun on opening day, our AT&T trivia question. Let's answer it. The only pitcher in Major League history to throw a no-hitter on opening day, Bob Feller, back in 1940. What a way to start your season off. Although Dan Heron has been just about perfect. Opening day 1940. Baseball legend, Hall of Famer Bob Feller. Adam LaRoche, Mark Reynolds, Miguel Montero. Edward Mujica takes over for John Garland, so Garland done.
Getting windy, Darren.
It is getting windy. And enjoying that game in 3D, that young lady. The good news is, if you're in the stands watching the actual game, that was belted. In the left center field, wind there. It's going to be under an overhang again. And he's there to make the play.
Kyle Blanks was right there with him that time.
Yes, he was.
I'm sure he got an earful from his outfield instructor or manager.
Mark Reynolds in the third inning. Talk about windy. I don't know if it played a role or not. And maybe just pushed it further out. It was going out.
Sometimes Reynolds hits baseballs where you're thinking, that's a fly out at the track. And you end up, it's 20 rows deep. And you're like, it didn't make that sound that it makes when he gets all of a ball. Which just tells you, Now, before the year's over, he'll probably break a bat, Darren, and hit a home run.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. Mujica with a fastball. It's high. For Garland, 4 innings, 5 hits, 6 runs. Just 2 of those runs were earned. 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. You see the numbers on Edward Mujica, who really established himself as a big part of this bullpen last year. Now they can eat some innings for you.
Well, Reynolds got a fastball right there, and he put a good swing on it and just missed it.
By the way, with Stephen Drew's home run earlier, Fulton Holmes donates another $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. He doesn't get another one, though. That's the thing about those pitches. You don't get many of those.
That's right. When you're a 40 or more home run guy like Mark Reynolds is, you might get one good pitch to hit an entire game. Well, Mark got his. He didn't miss it. Now, Mujica being very careful with the young slugger. Can't say I blame him.
Acquired last April from the Cleveland Indians organization. Looked like he pulled the string on.
That was a slider there and a beauty.
A 3-1 off speed pitch. How about that?
Shadows starting to creep out in front of the pitcher's mound. Makes it a little more difficult to see.
Outside corner, strike 3. Got him with a fastball pitcher's pitch, no doubt about it. Painted the black at 93 miles an hour.
3-1 slider. I'm sure Reynolds was thinking he's got to throw another slider here. Nope, he went with the fastball right on the outside corner. It's a heck of a pitch by the youngster.
Mujica, 25 years old. 5th and 6th inning guy when you think about it. Luke Gregerson will work behind him. Mike Adams working behind him. Then, of course, Heath Bell, the closer. Mujica had some hamstring problems last year. 0-1 the count. To his countryman, Miguel Montero, both from Venezuela. That was a tough pitch to mark. The 0-1.
Well, Dan, I'm going to go out of town scoreboard on you.
Are you now?
First time this year I'm going out of town scoreboard. In Cincinnati today, the St. Louis Cardinals defeated the Cincinnati Reds 11-6.
Okay.
Where are you going with this, Grace? Well, you know the MVP last year, Albert Pujols?
I've heard of him.
2 home runs today.
Did he now?
On opening day for the St. Louis Cardinals. Yep, 2 home runs. So, I guess just give him the trophy right now. Huh? Is he going to do it again? MVP?
Quite possibly.
Good chance.
2-1 the count. By the way, Pujols and his Cardinals come to town the 19th, 20th, and 21st as that one is lifted down the line, hugging the line it goes. That's a fun homestand, a challenging homestand for the Diamondbacks. This homestand is 3 with San Diego. And then, of course, Pittsburgh comes to town over the weekend. Then it's off to L.A. and San Diego. Then St. Louis for 3 and Philadelphia for 3.
Woo!
Yeah, I like that. 2-2 the count. Inside, and we'll go ahead and make a promise.
That's a lot of offense coming to town in those 2 teams, St. Louis and Philadelphia.
We will again on our air, because we love learning from the better hitters in the game. We'll hear from Albert Pujols and Ryan Howard, as we like to do every year. 3-2 the count. Always good to us. Hot shot, another 2-strike hit. This one with a full count for Miguel Montero. Well, he's been on 3 times today.
Well, that was just beautiful hitting right there by Montero. The whole entire at-bat was just very well done. Very veteran-like the way he just set up Mujica for the fastball. He got it. He was drilled it into center field for the hit. And gives Chris Young an opportunity. Well, why not? It's been nothing but 2-out rallies the whole day. 6 runs, all with 2 outs. Why not again?
Well, it's a good thing they held on to Montero after he hit just 180 this spring and didn't cut him loose.
That's one of those arguments. And you know, Darren, I was a guy in my 16 years. I had plenty of really good springs, and I had some bad springs. And at the end of that year, it was always about the same. You know, whether I had a typical year for myself, so you don't really, I mean, you can let a bad spring get to you, but also you can let a good spring get to you too. We've seen that happen to a lot of players.
Start believing your own press clippings.
Exactly.
He never panicked. He really used this spring to get ready defensively. We've talked a lot about it, but he and Glenn Sherlock at about 7:30, literally every morning this spring, before games, before workouts, before games started, he was out working on his catching and throwing. 2-1 the count. Montero from last mid-June on. We know all the numbers, but only Joe Mauer had a better batting average amongst his peers, and only Jorge Posada had a better slugging percentage from that point on.
It's pretty good company.
And so instead of rolling in his comfort, he rolled in and went to work. Chris Young tries to pull the pitch away. He does, and it sails deep in left center field. Wow. The ballpark holds it. Young gave it a ride. Montero's been on all 3 times. Young erased on a flyout. 6-0, Arizona.
A great Diamondback, certainly one of the heroes. The double in the bottom of the ninth against Mariano Rivera to set up the game-winning hit for the World Series. And Tony, I was surprised to learn from your wife, Janet, that this is your first Steve-X game back. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. We live on the East Coast, so it's kind of hard to come back and you know, get a lot of games in like I want to. So, but, you know, you got to start somewhere.
What's it like when you come back to this park? Memories flood back for you?
Oh, it's totally different, man. Different colors. The park's still the same, though. It brings back a lot of goosebumps, but you know, different colors. You see it in red or turquoise, whatever you want to call this color, like maroon. But
Sedona red.
Yeah, Sedona red. But you know, it's still the same. Gosh, you know, it's still, for me, it's Bank One Ballpark. It always will be.
And then, you know, we just saw an inside the park home run from Stephen Drew. You had one of the stole over 70 bases, and just for you, a kind of unique play, obviously, to see that.
Yeah, but it's also a good thing. That's why we put the overhang out for us little guys. You know, we got to hit that, and just let it run forever. But you know, this is a hitter's park. You know, especially if you can run. You know, those gaps, and especially down the line. So you know, they haven't changed that, and those guys should just take advantage of it.
Well, you look like a golfer, and I hear you've been playing some great golf out on the course with Randy Johnson this morning.
We're not going to talk about that one. I think Randy may be watching, so that's him and I. We'll keep that to us. But yeah, you know, I do a little PR work at home. I got a Steel and Hearts Foundation, and you know, I golf 7 days a week.
And finally, your son, I hear he's quite a ball player right now, 11 years old, still young.
He's going to be better than I am. And that's a good thing, because, you know, I learned from my father, who was my best friend. And, you know, my dad just taught me everything that he knew about. He didn't know as much as I do now. So for him, it's just for him, Al, to just take it and let it go. And then I got a 14-year-old freshman in high school. She's a dancer, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. But, you know, that's my firstborn, and she's doing well, too.
And finally, you know, Mark Grace, he calls you FD favorite Diamondback.
Well, you know, that's my man. You know, hey, if you need anything, go to Mark Grace. Mark Grace got your back.
All right, Tony, great to see you. Great memories. All right, guys, back up to you.
Gracie?
Well, don't come to me for a loan, Darren. I ain't going to have your back.
That made me excited. Woo, I'm ready.
I'm telling you, I really enjoyed playing with Tony Womack. I really enjoyed winning with Tony Womack, because Tony Womack, at the end of the day, that's all he was about, was winning baseball games. And boy, did he help this organization win a bunch of them.
Veteran Jerry Hairston Jr. playing with his brother Scott on this squad. And he pinch hits, provides some presence of a guy who's been around for a long time. A couple of years ago, had a really good offensive year in Cincinnati, made sure that he continued to work in the big leagues. 326 as a part-time player in 08 with Cincinnati, but he's had very quietly a nice long career. There's his brother looking on, former Diamondback and slugger. The time is called.
Jerry got himself a World Series ring last year with the New York Yankees.
He said he felt like he was on an all-star team, watching all-stars play. He said that was a lot of fun, and I covet the opportunity, but hoping to play a little more than I probably would have there. Off the end of the bat. You talk about that inside the Parker by Tony Womack. We're going to take a trip down memory lane here in a moment. But the team was 50 and 45 going into that game. They went 50 and 17 the rest of the way. You talk about
spark plug.
A spark plug, an inside the park grand slam, a decisive wake-up call. There's a split-fingered fastball. Nice job by Montero, who turns it into an out. Back-to-back strikeouts to start this inning. Let's go outside the box with our good friends with Jack in the Box and take a trip down memory lane.
Billy Wagner throwing 100. All right, wind him up. Safer out there in Sutton.
Ooh, I got safe.
Catcher didn't think so back in the old Astrodome.
He didn't like that.
Brad Ausmus did not care for that call whatsoever.
Tony Gwynn, Stephen Drew.
Ryan Herron's officially good.
Domination. He is throwing a one-hit shutout on opening day. Gorgeous sun-kissed day here in the great state of Arizona. These fans are having a blast. We trust you're having a blast dialing us up at home. Thanks for coming down to the ballpark. Thanks for joining us in your living room, if in fact you are. If you're watching anywhere around the world on MLB.com, that young man's not worried about the internet. All he wants is his bite of cotton candy and to clap a little more for his Diamondbacks. Families at the ballpark on opening day. Tim Stauffer takes the baseball, the 27-year-old right-hander, the man out of Maine. First-round pick in 2003. And the cut fastball runs in. 0-1 the count to Kelly Johnson.
Everybody throws it now, Darren. The cut fastball. That's the new sexy pitch.
Slower breaking ball, and Johnson's in the hole 0-2. Stauffer last year made 14 starts in the major leagues. He will work out of the bullpen this year. 4-7, a 3.58, pitched well. I mean, a 3.58 ERA. Had cups of coffee previous of that. Boy, that looked like it was right down the middle. Maybe a break there for Kelly. I think the movement of that pitch even surprised Brian Gorman. One runs down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Kelly Johnson grounded out to second and lined to left, both squarely hit. And deserves a better fate so far in his Diamondbacks debut as an 0-for-2. Hot shot, that one an easy chance for Gonzalez, and Johnson 0-for-3. And now Dan Heron. A 1-hit shutout. He is throwing at the San Diego Padres. 17 of 19 first pitch strikes in this game. 17 of 19.
That's ridiculous. But that's Dan Heron. That's what he does. He spoils you rotten, Darren, especially in April.
Six to nothing the score. Right down the middle. You know, over the last couple of years, you can put him, Dan Heron, right there in the group with CC Sabathia, Josh Beckett, Roy Halladay, Johan Santana. And it's fun to talk with these pitchers about their peers, the other perennial all-stars and Cy Young candidates, but it also is fun to talk with a guy who studies a little bit more the history of the game. Now, Greg Maddux isn't truly a part of the history of the game. He becomes more and more as such, as that one is fouled off. Dan will talk with you about the likes of Greg Maddux, Nolan Ryan, Bob Gibson, what he admires about him. CC Sabathia, one of his peers, one of his contemporaries, had a tough night last night. I asked Dan Heron, what is it as you look through history that those guys, Maddux, Gibson, Ryan, did to be great?
All very aggressive. They all have a fire on the mound. You know, Gibson would throw at guys' heads. Maddux with his pinpoint control, you know, and, you know, still, you know, he was out there throwing 88 miles an hour, whatever, making the ball move all over the place, but he had a confidence about him. He walked off the mound always with his chin up, you know. And those are the guys I like to watch. Those are the guys I try to model myself after. You know, if I feel like with those guys, if you get them once, you're not going to get them again.
Connor Jackson with the base hit, just to put a bow around that final comment. I feel with those guys, if you get them once, you're not going to get them again. To me, that's the ultimate compliment.
Well, what he says is those guys, those great ones, they make the adjustments. If they make a mistake to you and they get beat with it, they don't make that mistake again. It's another way of just saying they're very smart pitchers. Not only talented, but very smart, very bright.
Well, there's a guy that was in that group for the majority of the early part of his career. And right now, everything on standby for the perennial Cy Young candidate or top vote getter, whichever it is, each and every year. And so we wait. Meantime, we marvel at the healthy Diamondback. That one dives down and away. Randy Johnson took the mound opening day 0-2. Complete game shutout.
130 pitches.
130 pitches. Won himself a Cy Young Award again that year.
You don't see that anymore. Opening day, 130 pitches. but you don't see any big units anymore either.
No, you don't. The offense provided by Mark Grace with a solo home run in the 7th.
Wow, really?
Uh-huh.
That was off the Padres.
San Diego Padres, Gracie with a homer. Randy Johnson went the distance. Opening day. Today, the parties are different. It's not Grace. It's Drew and Reynolds.
It's not Randy Johnson. It's Dan Heron. But so far, one thing that is the same is the amount of runs that the Padres have scored. 0.
3-2 the count with 2 outs. Now Connor will be on the move. Montero and Heron doing a great job with one another. Heron the other day really praising the efforts of Miguel Montero. Runner goes, pitch, swung right through it. Looked like a hanging slider, but he got away with it. Dan Heron getting ready to go back to work, throwing a 1-hit shutout at the Padres. To this point, it's Dan Heron. He has not been lining up at all, those Padres, any of his pitches. He has quieted them down. And I guess you could say he's been so efficient, Gracie. You know, to tie with the sponsor, he's been able to conserve energy. He's been so efficient.
Wow. It's good to see you're still not shameless.
Absolutely not.
But a wordsmith. All the same.
David Eckstein takes a pitch low. By the way, these two pitchers similar with velocity, but just different results. Our Quest high-speed pitch brought to you by Quest high-speed internet. John Garland 92, Dan Heron 93. David Eckstein, that's Stephen Drew. And in time for the out, David Eckstein. 3 ground ball outs in this game. He is 0 for 3. 1 hit allowed. It was a Chase Headley double back in the 2nd inning. That's it. Walks, none.
There's only been a couple of hard hit balls by this Padre offense all afternoon. They've just been handcuffed by one of the best pitchers in the game, and that's Dan Heron. What a tone he's setting.
Gonzalez, a slow breaking ball for each hit the Diamondbacks get from now to the end of the season. Amica, as we take a look at the hot zone. We'll donate $10 to the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Phoenix. Those are the home runs. That's the hot zone. Cut fastball. Ian, 1-1 the count. A moment ago, he threw a slow curveball to Adrian Gonzalez. I'd say he's only thrown about 3 or 4 of those.
He hasn't needed it.
Popped up.
But he'll break it out on Adrian Gonzalez because he knows that earlier in the game he got ahead with fastballs. And he probably thought Adrian would come out aggressive, and he was, so he threw him the curveball and got the swing and miss.
Fastball lines it into left center field. All the way to the wall it goes. A very quiet approach for Gonzalez.
How pretty was that? Golly, was that impressive.
Well, that's who he is, isn't it? I mean, a lot of times he can do that and hit that ball 15 rows into the seats.
Takes a fastball. It's down at the knees on the outer third. And he doesn't flip that ball the other way. Look at him drive right through it and just drill it into the left center gap. Listen to this sound. Man.
Right-handed hitting. Kyle Blank steps in and takes away. Last year was right-handed batters against their counterparts, the right-handed pitchers, that really struggled for San Diego, hitting just .233 and on base of below 300. And today, the right-handed batters against Dan Heron are now 0 for 8.
That was the cut fastball right there, Darren. Right off the end of the bat from the big, powerful Blanks. Just an easy out on an easy ground ball to third.
Fastball high, reaching back, getting about, I think, all he has in his tank right now. 1-0 the count. 85 pitches.
Very generous strike there. Looked like a little cut fastball, maybe in the back door. Looked low, but he got the call.
Well, it's always good when that happens if you're a pitcher.
If you're a pitcher. All the advantages go to the pitchers. We all know that.
As it should be, as the 1-1 is fouled off, 1-2 the count. Split-fingered fastball there. Because if there weren't for pitchers, there'd be no baseball game.
1-2 on Chase Headley. Switch hitting third baseman. Steps in. Dan Heron gets his sign.
Tracy denying the reality. Says that one is blocked up by Montero. 2-2 the count. We like to call that up here anyway, folks, especially on a casual day now at 6-0. Denial play-by-play. Right into the play-by-play man when he's not comfortable with, well, what's really a truism. Anytime that occurs, a fact, something that's biblical, if you will.
Usually something about pitchers.
The 2-2. Bouncing ball into center field. This may break up the shutout. It does. And on a long hop to the cutoff man. So after the double, it's an RBI. 2 hits in this game for Headley. He has 2 of the 3. He drove in 64 last year. He has 1 RBI this year.
That's a pretty nice piece of hitting he just put on a split-fingered fastball. Didn't hit it all that hard. It's a good split down and away. Just rifles it right back up. Heron missed the kick save. It's now a 6-1 ball game.
0-1 the count to Will Venable. Bud Black has a little bit of offense now against Dan Heron. Venable, all Ivy League competitor both in baseball and college basketball. The 0-1.
Princeton, correct?
That's correct. Princeton. By the way, speaking of college basketball, out of the Horizon League, good luck tonight to Butler, if I may, on the personal side.
David and Goliath going at it tonight. Well, what a story if somehow, some way, Butler could find a way to beat the great Duke Blue Devils.
Long run for Kyle Johnson. Still streaking. He puts it away. Well, on this day with the red, white, and blue bunting all around, with the flyover earlier from Luke Air Force Base with the 4 F-16s, and of course a gorgeous rendition of our national anthem. We are certainly proud to live in the United States of America, to celebrate what has become a tradition and a bit of a holiday as the pilots who were part of the flyover from Luke Air Force Base gathered down below. We want to welcome Joe Nichols. It's God Bless.
D-Backs Live, the post-game show, and Joe Borowski. And then we'll talk about Stephen Drew and his exploits. We'll talk about Dan Herron, but we're also going to talk about two guys that had a chance to change the complexion of the game with one swing of the at-bat. One did, one didn't.
Of course, you're talking about Mark Reynolds and Adrian Gonzalez. Mark Reynolds had the opportunity with guys on base and delivered. Adrian Gonzalez, from other factors, didn't have that opportunity, and right now that's the difference in this game.
We'll break it down. Darren, I hate to say this to Mark Grace, but we've got another pitcher on board. Todd Walsh back here at Chase Field. We're getting set for D-Backs Live, the post-game show, and Joe Borowski. Mark Grace, but we've got another pitcher on board.
And that's a good thing.
Oh, my gosh, that's right.
That is a very, very good thing. Here is Justin Upton against Tim Stauffer. Justin hard on the ground, base hit left field, left a slider, looked like up out over the plate. So Justin, 2 hits today, also reached on an error. He scored a couple of runs. He is 2 for 4 this afternoon.
Just a first pitch. Cut fastball in the outer third, and he just rifles it through the left side, gets extended, and, I mean, not a chance for Everett Cabrera. That ball just gets through the infield so quickly off his bat.
All right, Adam LaRoche. Strike over the outside corner. LaRoche with that unique approach. Has always hit that way, and when he arrived at pro ball, they said, well, you have to change that. The Braves did. He said, just give me a month. Let me hit this way for a month. If in fact, and I give him credit for putting it this way, if in fact I'm not hitting and you don't like what you see, I'll change. Do whatever you want. No, he still hits this way. They went just fine.
So far, he's had a very productive career.
High and away, 1-1 the count. He's gotten beaten upstairs a couple of times with strikeouts. John Garland got him up. You can see they plan to pull in the infield. Outfield about straight up. Makes his winter home in Kansas in the Midwest. As that one is outside. 2-1 the count. Aaron Heilman, another Midwesterner and out of Indiana, goes to work. New York Met and a Chicago Cub. Signed as a free agent. And Herron in the forefront of that shot, Rodrigo Lopez will be starting in the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Kind of a nice story as he tries to resurrect his career, sitting out front of a guy who's in the prime of his. Lifted to left field. Looked like he beat him with an off-speed pitch.
Folks, spend your Friday and Saturday nights this season in Uptown. Oh, man, Uptown is the exclusive new fan zone behind right fielder Justin Upton. Fans seated in this section get a limited edition Uptown rally towel and may even catch an autographed Uptown baseball.
What?
I'm not done. Call 602-462-4794 or visit dbacks.com/Uptown. I can't wait to do a game out there. We're going to do a game out in Uptown.
You know what we are.
I think we have
Absolutely. We're going to do a game out there. We're going to gather in Uptown.
There it is. There it is. Out there right behind. Well, that's not Justin Upton there, but when the Diamondbacks on defense, it will be.
Oh, that's Venable Village right now.
That's right.
So come and enjoy Venable Village.
Oh, no. It's Uptown.
Oh.
I love it.
Just want to make sure that it didn't change with every visiting player.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, as a matter of fact. It will never change for any
really?
visiting right fielder. No, it's Justin Upton's place. See, that's Upton, but they added that W in there, you know. Uptown. Right. It's going to be big league.
I think it will. I think we'll go out
Fridays and Saturday nights. I got to go see the folks out there, don't you?
Yes. We have to go. He'll throw warm-up balls, by the way, in those nights. Whenever he plays catches, lob them into the seats.
Oh, really?
Experts.
Right on. Maybe have an autographed one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Good idea. Chance to get together, wave some rally towels, and you know what, folks? Please, we need more signs in Uptown.
I agree.
Upton on the move, the throw down, swiped it for Justin Upton. 20 stolen bases a season ago, his first of the year. And he is in scoring position now for his teammate Mark Reynolds. I guess the signs we need out there in Uptown need to be steal signs.
Steal signs. Pretty good jump. Great speed for a big man. Well, that was an awfully close play. The throw on the hop. Next time, boy, that was close. That was one of those that was so close. Either way you call it, you probably get it right. Good
right down the middle. 3-2 the count. Mark homered back in the third inning. He walked in the first inning and struck out looking in the fifth. It's like Mark Reynolds Day at the ballpark.
That's kind of the norm.
Bouncing ball, it's a foul ball. By the way, I'm going to ask all of you, do you know what Kachinko is? Find out and learn how you can play right here at Chase Field by going to the interactive kiosk near Section 111 during Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home games. Gila River Casinos presents Kachinko. Oh, yeah. Thought I'd slide that in there. Reynolds fouls that. A run on 3 hits and 2 errors for the Padres. They've stranded 2. For the Diamondbacks, 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 5 left on base. And might I say, as we talk about coming to the ballpark, sitting in great sections, playing games, enjoying this club. Tomorrow night, see, that's my opening day.
Yeah.
I like day 2 of the season.
I do too.
The 3-2. Another walk for Reynolds.
Opening day has its pizzazz and it has its glitz.
And it's wonderful.
And it, as it should. But yeah, game 2 is when things are a little more normal. You won't get the flyby. You know, you'll still get a tremendous national anthem. But it just won't have the hoopla or anything like that.
He'll throw tomorrow.
That's
Edwin
right,
Jackson.
Edwin Jackson.
But I feel like day 2, that's when we find who's in it for the long haul.
Yeah, a lot of opening day fans are just that, opening day fans, and then unfortunately they decide not to come back. But we want those people to come back. So I'd like to see them come back for day 2, Darren. Your opening day.
Absolutely. Bouncing ball, middle of the diamond, next time to the bag, onto the bag, and turns a double play with Mark Reynolds bearing down. On this opening day, the Diamondbacks lead at 6-1. A good indicator with Edwin on the mound for tomorrow's opening night. McDowell Casino. Welcome home to Fort McDowell. Love that shot. Father and daughter walk into the game. Well, bias on that side. You have boys, I have girls. And the son off to the left, enjoying with some throwback names on this opening day. The purple lid. Come one, come all, Diamondbacks fans. Aaron Heilman, that's what was said to him this winter. Come one, come all, and trying to upgrade the bullpen. This right-hander, this dependable right-hander was brought in. With the Cubs last year, 70 appearances, an ERA just a tick over 4. Out of Notre Dame and an Indiana native. Breaking ball popped up right side. Into the seats it goes. Last year, it was the 8th inning that just, I guess, was the Bermuda Triangle for the Diamondbacks, period. Well, when you add Howry, you add Heilman, a much more confident and improved Juan Gutierrez, Josh Burns, A.J. Hinch hope that that's not the case, and I can see why they believe that. It's a different look.
Well, Heilman gives you a different look as well. 3/4. He's got a very good changeup. He's got the fastball, the breaking ball. And especially against left-handed hitters, a really good changeup. Had some struggles last year with the Chicago Cubs, but did some good things with the Mets.
Good pitch in on the hands. And into the seats it goes. Broke into the big leagues, Heilman did back in 03. Early on, folks, he was a starting pitcher. And then he evolved. Talk about some of those good years that he had with the Mets. One of those in 2007 had a really good year. 81 appearances, an ERA just over 3.
Gas.
You know, when you're down and soft, you go with that pitch up in the zone. You go soft sinker, maybe slider. All of a sudden, that looks tempting, but you can't do anything with it.
He just runs up and in and right by Hunley. And he aired that one out. What a pitch.
This is the career of Aaron Heilman. And again, the last 4 years, 74 appearances, 81, 78, 70. That's one of the reasons he was attractive. And he was acquired this winter in the trade.
And what you want in the 8th inning, Darren, what the Diamondbacks didn't get enough of was strike throwers. You need guys that can come in and throw strikes. Because a lot of times when you're behind in a game, like the Padres are, you're told, take till you get a strike. And what you need is somebody that can come in and throw plenty of strikes and put them in what I call swing mode, as that one's flipped down the left field line, just foul. And so far, Heilman doing just that. Dan Herron, we know he's a strike thrower. How about 20 of 24 batters he faced saw strike one? 20 of 24 first pitch strikes. That's amazing.
That young man is smiling. He got a foul ball. All the fans are smiling because of what you just said. Game clicks along. Defenders are ready. They're on their toes.
Doggone right. There's the changeup.
Oh, man. That's nasty stuff from Heilman.
Heilman coming out, picking up right where Dan Herron left off, throwing lots of strikes. There's that changeup we talked about. Cabrera missed that one by about 7 feet.
Now, mind you, too, Cabrera had to be at least somewhat aware. He was standing in the on-deck circle, and with 2 strikes, Hundley was buzzed up high with a fastball.
He got the elevated fastball, you're right.
So Heilman right away playing his cards and playing them very effectively. Logansport, Indiana.
Here's our buddy.
Matt Stairs. The really trimmed up Matt Stairs.
Skinny Matt Stairs. I didn't think I would ever say that. I never thought I'd ever say a skinny Matt Stairs, but man, there he is.
I am told that he gets a nice big cut, a nice big check every time that we say Nutrisystem.
Really?
So,
well, we'll hook him up then.
So as long as when we come to San Diego, we're eating steaks and he's eating Nutrisystem, that's fine if he pays.
As long as he pays.
So again, Nutrisystem.
He's had himself a nice career.
The 1-1.
What a
That's
pitch.
A strike.
The comebacker right to the inside corner from Heilman. Once again, jumping ahead of another hitter, 1-2. Yeah,
no.
He didn't eat many of those.
Oh, no.
Now, I did.
11 major league teams, 17-year career. Popped up. Into left center field. Communicate, gentlemen. They do. Chris Young is there to make the play for the out. Aaron Heil. Solid stuff. Retiring 67-year-old Matt Stairs. At Chase Field, and certainly worth celebrating. The Diamondbacks off to a solid start. Dan Herron is done. If you're just joining us, Heilman a clean inning behind him, but Danny, 7 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, 92 very efficient pitches. And Sean Gallagher, who worked 14 times last year, will to get those boots muddy as he goes to work and fires strike 1 to Chris Young. Young 0 for 3. As that one is down and away for Gallagher. 6 minor league starts last year between Sacramento and Portland. Also worked out of the bullpen. That's a nice breaking ball right there. Really acts as a changeup as well.
Gallagher, one of those guys, Darren, just very good stuff. Just hadn't found a way to put it all together yet at the major leagues.
Young pops it up on the infield. Gonzalez is there. Chris Young, 3 outs in the air and a strikeout. He is 0 for 4. Our text poll will answer that in the postgame, by the way, as you chime in. Text 36929. The question: the toughest opponent for the Diamondbacks in the National League West? Rockies, Dodgers, Giants, or Padres? Well, technically, it was a tough day for LA, and whatever you believe is the right answer. But to be fair to all those other teams, the answer should be all of the above. When you look up at all of those teams, you have to reprove yourself to every one of them.
And that's what the Diamondbacks had to do. As that was skied into center field. Again, showing some closing speed, snares it easily. 2 quick outs. But you're right, Darren. The Diamondbacks, a lot of people forget, this Padre team finished 6 games ahead of the Diamondbacks last year. So I would have to agree with you there. All of the above are the teams that will be the stiff competition because they all finished higher than the Diamondbacks last year.
Gerardo Parra, what a fabulous year he had in his rookie season last year. Received some votes in that race for Rookie of the Year, won by Chris Coughlin down in Florida. Talk about a great season, young man for the Marlins. 290, 60 runs batted in. Part of this year, it's clear cut. There really is no question, and you hope for health. He plays as the fourth outfielder, but not a bad choice. The 1-1. Not a bad choice at all for what he was able to accomplish. He will, if need be, for A.J. Hinch, be penciled in any of the outfield spots if he's needed, including in center field, where guys that have to prove themselves are Chris Young's on that list. And Parr got a lot of time in center field should Chris Young struggle against righties. Good 2-strike pitch. It's in, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Change up, strike 3 over the outside corner. Gallagher sits him down. 1, 2, 3. To the 9th we go. The overhang with an inside the park home run. And that's where we stand. Miguel Montero will clock back in and go to work as the catcher. Mark Reynolds maybe a play or two, and Stephen Drew to his left. All part of our Blimpie America's Sub Shop as the veteran. Bobby Howry takes the baseball, added this winter as well, along with Heilman. The pride of Deer Valley High School, local product.
Local product. Veteran, been around a long time now. Gotten a lot of people out in his career. Used to be a real hard thrower, Darren. Doesn't throw near as hard as he used to when he was a young man with the White Sox. But still, got a lot of know-how and still got plenty of talent in that right arm. He's going to see a lot of big innings, just as he did last year with the Giants.
Fastball usage has gone down a little bit because of what you're talking about. Used to throw his fastball, I mean a lot, about 85% of the time. Now, about 70% of the time. Throws a few more sliders and changeups than he used to. But you don't stay and play this long without a good head on your shoulders, taking care of yourself, and some luck.
And no fear.
No fear at all. I always feel like when a gentleman stays and plays in the big leagues for a long time, at some point it's taken for granted, that dependability. When it's incredibly difficult to get here, and ask Ryan Roberts, and we mean this respectfully, it's even harder to stay here. So when you're doing it for 731 games, you tip your cap to a player like that. And you too, as long as you play.
You're 1,000% correct. It's one thing to get here. It's another thing to stay here.
2-2 the count to Tony Gwynn Jr. Singled and fouls that one off, or I should say 0 for 3. And Rusty Ryle, who edged out Ryan Roberts. Augie Ojeda next to him, part of that bench. One known for the bat, the other for the glove. And Edwin Jackson made his major league debut on his 20th birthday in this ballpark as a Dodger. Beating Randy Johnson will pitch tomorrow. Shoots that one down there.
Also, today, the Diamondbacks, to this point, have followed the recipe to handcuffing the San Diego Padres, and that is they've made Adrian Gonzalez their great hitter, great first base. They made him hit with the bases empty every time he's up. Gwynn and Eckstein are a combined 0 for 6 today. That's how you handcuff their offense. Make those big sluggers hit with the bases empty.
High fly, you love young Gwynn in the air. 49,192, a sellout in attendance. Some of them certainly still left and enjoying this ball game. Coming up tomorrow, opening night. This is opening day. First night game has Chris Young against Edwin Jackson, his Diamondbacks debut. And then Ian Kennedy against Kevin Correa for the Diamondbacks. Two guys who did a lot of learning in the American League and the American League Eastern Division. Jackson before Detroit, obviously, as Young looks on, pitching for Tampa. Eckstein takes a pitch that is high. We like to call them the Rays, Gracie, not the Devil
Tampa
Rays.
Bay Rays.
Right. Not the Devil Rays.
Right. But they want the Tampa. They want the Bay in there, but they don't want the Devil.
I don't blame them.
I don't want the Devil in there either.
Stephen Drew was saying at one time he went down to Georgia and he was looking for a soul to steal. So there's no sense in that. Now that's the kind of devil we like, the Sun Devil.
The Sun Devil.
Todd Walsh doesn't. He's very happy that we just showed that.
He's very upset.
Said bear down.
It's equal time for his Wildcats.
The 1-1. That one is popped up. Adam LaRoche. 2 outs here on opening day. Eckstein is retired. Two guys you love to have them hit the ball in the air, and that's Gwynn and Eckstein.
That's exactly right. A combined now 0 for 8 for those two guys at the top of the order. The two catalysts. This big man, this Paul Bunyan-esque man, Adrian Gonzalez, he's doubled and scored today, but he is hit with the bases empty every single at-bat. That's a recipe for beating the San Diego Padres.
Opening day tickets around their necks. The fans start to rise out of their seats looking for their Diamondbacks to start 1-0. Howery, strike one, 91 miles an hour.
Come on, fans, get loud. Let them hear you. Come on. Stand up. Get loud. There you go.
Oh, the string on him, 0-2. The riser, as we said, a little bit older, Bobby Howery. Change-up, 0-2. Well, that's a good-looking pitch right there.
Pretty change-up, wasn't it? All right. Everybody on their feet.
More than 49,000 came through these turnstiles. The 0-2 pitch. High fastball. 1-2 the count. And at times the little kid in Miguel Montero still comes out as he tried to frame that pitch up at the chin of Gonzalez. But why not? Bobby Dean Howery wheels and deals. Fastball in. Now that's worth framing up.
That was a pretty good pitch. Didn't get it. Maybe an inch or two inside. Maybe an inch or two inside was all, but a quality pitcher's pitch. Let's see if he can send us home right here.
2-2. Outside. 3-2 the count. Blanks waits on deck. 36-year-old right-hander. With the full count pitch, hanging around, went up the ladder with it. And Howry wears number 46 on his back. Has the count at 3-2. He's worn 62 and 46. Those are the two numbers he has kept as his standard throughout his career. 3-2. Drill. Left field. Jackson back. That one's tall. Up and over the wall, an opposite field home run for Adrian Gonzalez. Boy, he just put an at-bat on him. Fouling away a high fastball to hang around. He hit 40 last year. He's doubled, and he's homered in his last two at-bats.
Now, is it starting to make sense how important it is to handcuff the number 1 and 2 hitters, because this guy is just that doggone good. Jumped ahead 0-2, and then missed with a couple of fastballs to go to 3-2, and then it's just power on power. The foul ball, not that time. Goodness, what a hitter.
28%. 28% of all of the Padres' home runs last year were hit by that man. Bobby Howry, a fly ball pitcher statistically, and he always will be. I would imagine will continue to adapt in this ballpark. Different than San Francisco, certainly, if you're a fly ball pitcher where he pitched.
That's probably not a home run last year.
He's given him up before, and he'll give him up again. Just looking to bounce back, work through it in his Diamondbacks debut. Fly ball, well struck, right center field. Looking up, Blanks crushes one out of here. To right center field, the big fella. All 270 pounds of it. Pounds the baseball out of here. He hit 22 as a pro last year. And these two back-to-back, these big fellas are going to do some damage this year, and Howry's giving up a pair.
He just goes right down the middle. Blanks hits this ball an awfully long ways. My goodness.
And now the closer, Chad Qualls, begins to get loose. It's the veteran. Is torched by the youngster, Billy Blanks, or Kyle Blanks, I should say, 23 years old.
Tybo.
I knew that would happen sooner or later. Looking forward to talking about some infomercials. Here's Chase Headley. That's the ball game. No more exercising up and down now. Speaking of Tybo, the Diamondbacks are 1-0 to start the season. Back-to-back home runs by Gonzalez and Blanks make things a little bit more uneasy. But Gracie, what you don't lose sight of is the Diamondbacks hit. We thought they hit this year. Good start. We knew Dan Herron would pitch, so the script going really as we thought to open the season.
Well, and we said it before the game started. Even in a last-place finish last year, Dan, every time number 15, Dan Herron, took the mound, you just felt like the Diamondbacks were going to win that baseball game, no matter who they were playing. And that was the case today. He was just way too much for this Padre offense.
Dan Herron was great. Now we look forward to tomorrow night, which is essentially opening night when we find out who's in it for the long haul. My personal favorite game of the season is game 2 of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing Edwin Jackson pitch.
Absolutely. Got a chance to do a few of his games last year, Dan, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what you see from this still young right-hander.
Jackson comes over from the American League, and Kennedy wraps up this series, but we've got a lot more to talk about. We've just begun. Gracie and I will hop in. We'll talk about the ball game as well. But for now, Todd and Joe are getting ready. It's our post-game show. It's Quest, and it's now.